Everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about, I guess, the big reveal of tonight's episode and really focus on that aspect to it. If you do want to check out my review for the episode, that's already out. I break down the entire episode. And so, yeah, more I want to focus on the reveal here and talk about that a little bit more in depth here. So yeah, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. And also, please be aware that this video will contain spoilers for episode 2 of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2. And I mean, the big reveal tonight is that the nest is obviously not as it seems. You know, a lot of season 1 was building up this place quite a bit. Like, this place is going to be absolutely incredible, a really amazing place, and it's really going to, I guess, save humanity. And obviously, if you're a Walking Dead fan, you sort of know that that's a little silly, right? Like, it's probably not going to be what it is overall, but still, obviously, seeing the reveal happen and seeing what is actually happening here, and based off of the trailer for episode 3, I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening here at the nest, and honestly, for Daryl and Isabel, Pouvoir really is something that they're not focused on right now, because obviously the nest, I would say, is a little bit more concerning as of right now. And so yeah, like I said, I did a review already of the whole episode, so if you want to go and see that out, go and check out that video here. I just want to focus more on the nest betraying Daryl, Isabel, and Laurent, and some of the big reveals that happened in regards to that storyline here in this episode, because it was sort of the big reveal. Now, how all this happened is obviously Laurent goes missing, and so Daryl and Isabel are concerned, and we learn later on that Laurent was actually, I guess, held captive at the nest the entire time, and that Daryl and Isabel were led away from the nest, I guess, for the ceremony to take place. And so they're assuming that while they're gone, they're going to be able to have this ceremony here to be able to prove to everybody that Laurent is the cure, basically, right? It's going to be able to save humanity from the Walker apocalypse. And so it's kind of insane to see overall that that is their plan, because in the episode, Laurent actually says, like, well, we're going to have to deal with Daryl when he comes back. And then obviously it's revealed that, I mean, from, I don't know what her name is, but she does say that, well, no, actually, I made changes to the plan here, and I told Emil and the others to get rid of Daryl. And so there's a bit of surprise there, you know, and I think that, I mean, obviously that makes a lot of sense, because if Daryl's there, he's not going to let that happen, and they all know that there. And so it's kind of insane, because this place, it really feels like a cult right now, and I think that that's something that I just really never saw coming from the nest. And so I'm actually really excited about this, because I think if the nest was something that was really amazing overall, I think that it would be kind of underwhelming in terms of a storyline just for the show in general. And I think now looking back at season 1 and just thinking of like where all of this was building to, right? The fact that they all really believed in this. And obviously Daryl, when he first heard of all of it, he was just like, well, this is a little kind of insane, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe it's possible. And they sort of tease a lot of that in season 1, like this could be possible. Maybe Laurent actually is the cure, right? And then in season 2 here, we're starting to see, no, this is really not possible at all. And we're starting to see exactly why. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I don't think that, I mean, I think a cure storyline at some point in The Walking Dead could happen, but I just think this storyline specifically just didn't make too much sense. I actually think, if anything, if there is a cure at all, it's probably going to come from Madame Genet, but I don't think it's going to happen this season, and I really don't think that it's going to happen from Pouvoir or anything anyways. I think that it'll be something that they eventually, you know, maybe do in a future storyline, maybe on a different show, maybe on Dead City or like another spinoff or something. So Emil being on the nest side was really shocking. I honestly didn't see that happening, and you know, I kind of expected it while I was watching, but just seeing the reveal happen, I just, you know, it was shocking. I just couldn't believe that he would actually side with the nest. But it makes sense, because again, that woman, she mentions that, and her actual line of dialogue is, your prophecy inspired all these people. And so we learned that Laurent started all of this here. He started, I guess, the whole prophecy of Laurent was going to save everyone, that he is basically the cure here, right? And so he really got everyone to believe this, and that's sort of a big reveal here in this episode as well, is that we learned the origins of where all of this came from. It really, like, it came from Laurent. He started all of this here, everyone believed, and so that's why Isabel and Laurent, you know, they worked so hard to eventually get to the nest here once Laurent was ready. And obviously Pouvoir, I think, you know, had issues with it overall. But at this point here, they've waited a really long time. And so people now at the nest just want to be very certain. And that's what that woman says. Like, you know, like, they still believe in all of this, but they really just, like, they want to be certain now. And I think now is the time. And so this ceremony here is going to happen. And so it's funny, because Laurent is so confident that Laurent is the cure that it almost makes you wonder, like, maybe he is. But obviously there's only one way to find out if he is the cure. And so, you know, obviously Daryl and Isabel, they're not willing to allow that to happen. Like, they don't want Laurent to turn to a walker, right? So I think that just in terms of the nest and this place that we've known for quite some time now, it's kind of insane to see that it really is nothing special. Like, I really thought that going into the season that, yes, the nest was going to be something that maybe there were some differences in terms of what characters believe, this and that, but overall, it was going to be more of the place that everyone stays at, and everyone's going to hide there from pouvoir and everything. But it really does seem like, no, they have to get away from this place. And so I think eventually Daryl and Isabel are going to be held captive. I'm not sure what happens to Laurent at that point, but they are going to be held captive, so they will be away. I think eventually when they do escape or whatever happens, there's no way they're going back to the nest, right? Like, I think that they're going to go somewhere else. And so I'm really interested in terms of how a lot of that connects to future storylines. Like, is that why they go to Spain now? Because there's really nowhere else to go. Like, you can't go back to, where they were in season 1. They can't really go back to the nest. Like, this place is really just a place that you can't really stay in at all. Like, it's really not safe for any of them. And so I think that's going to be the focus, like, not completely yet, but after episode 3 and 4, like, once we get towards the ending of the season here, I think that's going to be the big focus for everyone, is like, we need to leave. Like, we need to get out of here. And so maybe that's why they go to Spain. And so, I mean, there could be a tease at the very end as to why they're going to Spain, or a certain storyline there. But yeah, I'm really excited about all this here. And honestly, I think that the Nest storyline is playing out in a different way than I was expecting. And is really just, honestly, in terms of writing and stuff like that, just really great, because I was so shocked to see Emile and everyone else just sort of turn on them. Like, it was sad to see Emile die as well. I think it was just, again, the reveal I thought was just incredible. And so in terms of Laurent actually being the cure, again, I think this storyline is coming to an end this season. The episode 3 trailer shows that the ceremony is happening, so it is building up to this moment. There's going to be like a final showdown that happens here. I actually do wonder if after all of this, are we going to see the Nest at all in the last 3 episodes? So for like episodes 4, 5, and 6, because I honestly think that we're probably not going to see the Nest at all unless there's a reason, but I don't see there being a reason at all. I don't even think Carol's going to go there, to be honest, unless pouvoir shows up at the end of episode 3, and that's why Isabel and Daryl are taken captive, because they take over the Nest, right? I don't know. Sylvie's death as well, is that happening in episode 3? I talked about that a little bit in the trailer breakdown. I think that it's likely going to happen here. So I think that all of this is coming to an end, and the reveal that happened in tonight's episode in terms of, I guess the Nest betraying everybody, and this whole Laurent Walker Cure storyline, I think is all coming to an end here in episode 3, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to see where this is building to, and I think that the transition from this storyline going back to pouvoir being the main villains of everything here, and how this is going to end in the last 3 episodes, I'm excited for it, because I think that they can really do an incredible job in terms of ending this storyline right, because that's one of the things that I've just wanted for The Walking Dead. And I mean, really, I guess all of this year entirely is I want storylines to end properly. And I mean, I guess I liked a lot of storylines in The Ones Who Live. Like, I did like how Jadis' story ended overall, so like there is that. But in terms of the Nest and where this is all going here, I want this storyline to end properly, because this is sort of all the buildup that we got from season 1. So yeah, but anyways, yeah, really shocking moment that happened here in episode 2. Post your reactions down below. The Nest is not a good place at all. It's not the place that was, talked about in season 1. It's definitely a place that believes in very different things than pouvoir, but it is something that is very, it's not a good place to be in for Laurent. And so I hope that they all get out of there, but obviously I think Daryl and Isabel are going to be held captive, and then I just don't know what happens to Laurent at that point. That's the part I'm trying to predict right now, but yeah, obviously I'll do videos this week talking about everything. And yeah, so definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. This week I will be doing quite a bit of videos on some stuff from episode 2. Obviously tomorrow I'll focus a lot on that. I do want to talk about episode 3 as well, and break down some of the shots from the trailer and whatnot. And then I do want to focus on some stuff with Dead City season 2 and The Ones Who Live, I guess a potential season 2, and talk about some of that. And also obviously Comic-Con is not this weekend coming up, but it is the weekend after that. And so I think that there is going to be some reveals there that I think could be really exciting, right? Like, I do think that if they announce something like Rick and Michonne related, obviously a lot of people would be excited for that. And I think at this point, it's something that I think Walking Dead fans in general just really need, because I would say that The Walking Dead right now, like, it's exciting and I do like the storylines overall, but there just needs to be something else, I feel like, because I think after The Ones Who Lives finale, again, it's not necessarily like saying goodbye to Rick and Michonne. Like, I think if we said goodbye to them and that was it, I would still be excited, but it's more of how they ended that storyline and how it seems like there's not this bigger universe with things being connected, this and that. Like, I think that's the aspect to it that is definitely very kind of frustrating, and I do want to see a lot more there. And I do think that's what people want in general. So I do hope that we get some of that here in, I guess at Comic-Con. There's going to be 2 events. There's Palais Fest and Comic-Con. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We'll see what they announce here. And yeah, so definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.